Hey guys, it's me reobebo here, and I've always wanted to do a review on Chrono Cross because I have such fond memories about the game. I remember first getting my PS2, I didn't have that many games for it, I just had Jak and Daxter. So when I went to my cousin's house, he let me try a game called Chrono Cross, and when I first played I absolutely loved it, and I asked him if I can borrow it. And the funny thing is I never owned a PS1 memory card, so I would just constantly play this game from the beginning just to see how far I can get. It was just so addicting. It was so immersive for me that I just had to keep the game. So when I went back to him, I told him if I could keep the game. And being how nice he was, he let me keep it. And I even bought a PS1 memory card just to play this game. And honestly, without Chrono Cross, I don't think I would have been really into RPGs if it wasn't for that game. In Chrono Cross, you start off as a boy named Serge, or whatever you'd like to name him. And you wake up from a nightmare at your home in Arnie Village. And you are told to get your friend Lena 3 dragon scales in order to make her a necklace. After you've collected these scales, you both meet up at the beach, where somehow this black portal takes you into another dimension, which actually you have been dead for nearly 10 years. And not only that, a half-human, half-animal named Lynx wants to take an artifact called the Frozen Flame, which has control over space and time. And he wants to use this for his own evil purposes. So your job is to stop Lynx and to figure out why is there a portal that takes you into 2 dimensions. While the story may seem a bit confusing, once you understand it, you'll definitely be hooked. Some of the characters are actually really well done, and the story is really complex, and it's very interesting, and there's some amazing plot twists in the game. Trust me, one of the plot twists will completely change your perspective on the story. And you can also make dialogue choices which affect the endings, and also there are different approaches to take one objective. So your story in the game will actually be pretty different from someone else who played the game, which is really amazing for a PS1 game. Chrono Cross does not only just support an amazing story, but also has amazing visuals as well. Since unlike other RPGs which have a fantasy/sci-fi setting, Chrono Cross's setting is actually in an island, and a very unique and beautiful one at that. So the game has pre-rendered backgrounds, which gives you the feeling like you're moving through a beautiful painting. And not only that, the character models are actually surprisingly good for a PS1 game, and the spell effects look great. If there's any complaint I'd have with the game is, for me it seems to slow down at certain points, but that's just a slight minor gripe. Other than that, these visuals are fantastic and easily one of the best you can find on the original PlayStation. While the game's story and graphics are really great, what's even better than that is the game's soundtrack. And this game's soundtrack is easily my top 3 best soundtracks of all time. It seems like every single track in the game just fits whatever's going on, whether it's the game's battle theme, the game's boss theme, or the overworld map theme. Everything just fits. Honestly, I can't really describe it that well, but you really have to listen to it by yourself and really understand. Since so many people who have played this game always talk about how amazing the soundtrack is. You might be thinking, this game has not only a great story, great graphics, great sound, it must falter somewhere in the gameplay. And it doesn't. Surprisingly, the gameplay is actually really fun. But it's a bit different, and it does take a while to get used to, so let me tell you what makes this battle system different from other turn-based. What makes the battle system unique in Chrono Cross is that when you attack an enemy, you can do multiple hits to him. And when you do press attack command, you have a choice between doing a light attack, a medium attack, or a heavy attack. And a light attack pretty much is more likely to hit the opponent, and you can hit him a lot of times, but it won't give him that much damage. You can also do a medium attack, which has the best of both worlds, or you could do a heavy attack, which you can hit him only a few times, and you're more likely to miss. But when you do hit him, you'll give him a lot more damage than you would doing a medium or light attack. Another thing that makes Chrono Cross's battle system unique from other RPGs is that Chrono Cross does not use any standard MP gauge, rather it uses elements instead. And elements are pretty much magic that you can only use once. And there's also a unique twist to it in that it sort of has a Pokemon-like structure to it, since there's 6 elemental colors and each one of them has their own strength and weakness. Like for example, blue elements are strong against red elements and vice versa. And it makes the battle system have an extra layer of strategy because Surge, your character, his innate elemental color is white. So if someone attacks him with a black element, it'll give him a lot more damage than it would any other character in your party that doesn't have a white element. Chrono Cross also has something called the elemental field, which you can see in the right corner of the screen when you're fighting against enemies. And the thing that makes it interesting is that when you use this element multiple times, it'll fill up your elemental field. So let's say you have a blue element that you use multiple times and it fills up the whole field. So when you do a normal blue attack, it'll cause around twice or 3 times as much damage than it normally would. And this is very useful when trying to fight a boss. And let's say he's a red element. So if you keep on using the blue element, not only will the blue element hurt your red boss just normally, but when the field's full, it'll give him a devastating blow, which can make boss fights seem just like normal encounters if you use this strategy. Outside of battle in Chrono Cross, there are a lot of fun and unique things to do. One of them being is that you can get up to 45 people to join your party. And the cool part about this is that it's impossible to get all 45 people to join your party the first time through. So it really encourages replayability in order to see what party members would recruit with you. And there's also a way to get them all at once, but only in your second playthrough. And let me tell you, a lot of these party members have really unique personalities and really deep backgrounds, like Fargo or Glenn. These characters are really fun to have. It's great to have a lot of different fighting styles into your party. If there's one problem with all these party members is that some of them pretty much get no background, no personality. They're just pretty much there just to fill up space. And it's pretty disappointing since some of them are actually pretty interesting. You just don't really get to know them that much. Another interesting feature outside of battle is dimension swapping, since you can go to your home dimension in which you've been alive or the other dimension in which you have been dead. And what's interesting is going to the same places in those dimensions are actually pretty different. Like one of them being Fargo's ship. In the Fargo ship, in the dimension in which you have been dead, he's actually a really awesome BA pirate. But when you go to the dimension of your home, he's actually just a cruise ship owner who's really depressed about his wife being dead. And going through different dimensions actually helps you with your objectives in the game. Like for example, one of your party members is stricken with a disease, and the only way to cure is to kill a certain creature. The thing is that certain creature has been extinct in that other world in which you have been dead. So you're going to have to cross dimensions into your home world in order to defeat that creature in order to save her. And it's very interesting how these moral issues plays out, because when you go to your home world to kill that creature, when you do that, you know that's the last one alive. So killing that creature gives you that moral decision of whether you want to extinct a whole species just to save one person or not. You might be thinking, with all the good things in the game, there at least has to be some problems, since of course not all games are perfect, and Chrono Cross does have its flaws, but to be honest, they're very minor and they're very few. One of them is that some of the characters you kind of wish were more developed than they actually were in the games, and some of them actually could have really branched out into something very interesting. And also, the second problem would be the pacing of the game. Well, pacing of the game's story, not really the gameplay itself, but the story becomes a bit plot twist heavy, like very near in the end, and it really does throw you off a bit, and it can be a bit annoying. And the third problem would be that you do backtrack in some places. Since you are crossing between 2 dimensions of the same world, you will be going to the same places twice. And if you really don't like backtracking, it really could be a big problem for you. I don't mind backtracking that much, and the cool part of the game is that, since you're going through different dimensions, they feel different. So it's not really a big problem for me, but could be a problem for other people. Now, with all the good things about Chrono Cross, and the fact that the game sold over 1 million copies, You might be wondering, why does this game need more love? And the fact that is the sequel to Chrono Trigger. And you might be thinking, what's wrong with a sequel to an awesome game that's already an awesome game? And the reason is because Chrono Trigger fanboys hate this game. They hate the game for being different, because it doesn't borrow that many plot elements or gameplay elements from the first game. And every little thing that was changed, people made it seem like it was a terrible flaw and it just ruined the game. When in actuality, it's just different. And it gets me angry because Chrono Cross is being judged negatively, not based on its gameplay flaws or its story flaws, but based on the fact that it's different. And I don't understand that. Like games like Super Mario Sunshine or Star Fox Adventures, these games get so much hate. But in reality, they're just different. They're still really great games. They're still really fun games. They're just a departure from its original ideas that started the franchise to begin with. But that out of the way, this game definitely needs to be played. If you own this PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, and like RPGs but have never played this game, you owe it to yourself to put on your wish list, your cart, or just go to your local game store that sells PS1 games and find this game and get it. Trust me, you won't regret it. It's a fantastic experience. It's one of the best games I've ever played. It's one of the best RPGs. It's one of the games that got me into RPGs, along with Pokemon and Final Fantasy. But still, this game was a major importance in my gaming life, and I really love this game, and you should definitely try it out for yourself. I'm reobebo, guys, and peace out.